Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're looking at our loop setup. To show you our entire loop rig, the hardware, the software, everything would just be too long of a video, and so we're going to break this up into two segments. I'll show you guys today just our computer setup, how we set up our Ableton tracks, how we set up the MIDI notes to correspond with our Pro Presenter computers in the back of the booth, and we'll take a look. So stick around and we'll show you what's been working well for us. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for checking this video out. If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe. That really helps us out. It makes us want to make more videos and lets us know that you guys are enjoying what we're making here. And thank you to all you guys who follow us on Instagram with Warp or at Warp_Inc. We're super excited about releasing content to help other churches take steps forward in making their production more professional. And so today we're going to jump in and talk about a real hot topic, and that's loops and using tracks in your church services. Why use loops? What's the big deal? Well, we've found that it really helps enhance our sound. Is it necessary? Is it essential? No. You can definitely do worship without this. You can do worship without a production team. You can do worship without speakers, right? We're not talking about the essentialism of worship here. We're just talking about what enhances it, makes it sound better, ups the quality of production, all that kind of deal. And we've just found that it gives us a nice big sound. And when you have volunteer musicians, it's really hard to kind of fill out all of those parts and pieces. And so loops give us that ability to have that thicker sound. So there's so many different ways that you can set up a loop rig. You know, when I started using loops 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I first started doing it off an iPod with a split track coming off my iPod, and we've gotten more advanced since then, but there really are several ways for you to set it up. Some are incredibly advanced, some of them are super simple. And so today I wanted to show you what's worked for us and what we do, and then maybe down the road I'll show you guys some alternate ways of setting up a loop rig. Obviously you need in-ears to be able to play to loops, because you have to play to a click track and you don't want your click coming through your house or through your floor wedges. So let's just jump right in and I'll show you guys our Ableton setup. So if you're not familiar, this software is called Ableton Live. I love this software. I love this software so much I named one of my dogs Ableton. No lie, you can ask my friends. It can do everything. It can record, it can do all that stuff, but its primary function is a live performance software. Every week we open up this template. You can see how we name it. We name it with the reverse date _Sunday template, and every week we just go in here. We keep all of our files on Dropbox. We open up the prior week and we start making changes and we save it to the next weekend. So this is our set list for this weekend coming up, January 14th. And you can see our set list here on the side. This column has no audio. It is just a set list. It's just labels. It just helps when we're setting up a new session for us to be able to look at it and see what songs we're playing. So you can see here, I've got our songs in here. I've got the key that we're playing that song in. We sometimes have girls lead guy songs, and we do a lot of switching, and so it's just helpful for us to mark what key it is. We have our different elements of our service, like this FYI here. This is our announcement videos. And then there's where these breaks are, where other things are happening, and that just helps us visualize what the service looks like. Over here, this next vertical track here, if you will, is for pads if we want an ambient pad playing, which we don't really ever use that. We probably can take that out of here. We don't really use that anymore. This next one is for stereo loops. So all of these tracks are different stereo loops, except this song right here. I'll talk about this in a second, for Peace Be Still. But you can see these are custom mixes from multitracks.com, which is a great website. Multitracks is great because they actually have deals with the record labels that these worship songs come out on. So they actually have the actual tracks that are mixed just for playing loops like this. There's different resources as well. Loop Community is a great resource. And then, of course, you can make your own loops like we do for our original songs. And sometimes we make our own loops if we want to change up the arrangement of a song because we've been playing it for a while. But all of these are from multitracks.com. And you can do different things. You can do like a one mix where it's like $15, or you can buy the entire multi-track, which is where you get all the different files, which is what Peace Be Still is here. And that's like $35 or something like that. But this is really great because it gives you the functionality of being able to take out certain instruments, add back in, make certain ones louder, make certain ones quieter, do your own panning. And so if I don't have guitar players for a weekend, I can throw in these electric guitar channels to fill that spot. Now we have 2 electric guitar players, so we don't really need that, so I take those out unless there's a specific part that we want on top. But let me get back to the stereo loop channel. We have the stereo loops, and another cool function too is, I don't know if you guys do this at your church, but sometimes these songs have really long intros, and we could shorten those intros by entering a start time here, doing the same thing on the guide channel, and that just cuts down on that intro a little bit, which makes for smoother transitions. These next channels are just the different multi-tracks for this particular song. It's the only one that we're using this weekend, but you can see here we can change the volume on these, we can mute them, we can, maybe I want to play piano this weekend on this song, so I can mute that track and not have to worry about the piano coming through in the loop. And then in the next channel we have cues or guides, and these are, they count the songs. You can hear 1,
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And obviously that channel is just directed to our ears, so the congregation can't hear that, but we're all in sync playing together, and that's how we have our guide channel set up. Then we have 3 other channels here that we really don't use, and then we have a Pro Presenter channel, which is a channel of MIDI tracks that send a MIDI signal to our computer in the back that plays Pro Presenter on our center screen. And we send that out through a network session 1 wired connector cable between our Pro Presenter computer and our onstage loop computer. And I'll show you guys how we do that in just a second. Then this final master track, this is where we enter in information like tempo, time signature. On songs slower than 100 beats per minute, we like to subdivide, and so we put 4/8 time in there. If it's a 6/8 time, all that kind of stuff. And that really lines up the global click here
1, 2.
with the loops. And so that's really how that works, and you can make these changes by selecting one and hitting Command R, and then you can edit the content there. So it's a really basic setup once we got it all set up like we wanted. Let me talk really quickly. So in the next video I'll show you guys our hardware, but we hook this up to an 8-channel interface. We actually use a Personas Fire Studio project, which is 8 outs and 8 inputs, or 8 mic pre's, whatever. And so that gives us the functionality of sending 8 signals to the board. Currently we only use 4. We have channel 1 and 2 for the stereo loops, and then we have channel 3 for our cues, and then this cue out we set to channel 4, and that's where our click comes out of. And so our front of house engineer can control the left to right of the loop, and then he can control the click and the guide in our ears. And that's currently how we have that set up. But because we have the 8 outs on that interface, we can send these different tracks to different channels so that our front of house engineer can control them separately, which is really cool. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. We keep all of our loops on Dropbox, and we have Dropbox, the app, downloaded on our computer. And so you can see here I've added a folder called Loops, and these are all of our songs. Like I said, we've bought a lot of these off of Multitracks, we've bought a lot off of Loop Community, and we've made a lot of them. And inside the folders there are the different files. There's the stereo loop, there's the split track loop. Here's one, Mighty Cross by Elevation. So when you buy a custom mix, you get a click track, which we don't use because we use the global click. You get a guide track, you get a auto panned, which is like a split, and then you get the stereo mix. And we just drop these files in, and they're ready to go once we set them up. So that's kind of an overview of how we set up our Ableton session. Again, there's several different ways to set it up. There's simpler ways, there's more complex ways, but that's how we set it up. Leave us a comment, guys. Let us know if this is kind of what you do or what you do differently. We'd love to hear about different ways to do things, and always trying to grow and make this better. But loops are such a cool way to enhance your worship. Obviously, they're not essential, but this definitely enhances it and makes that fuller sound, which is really cool. Stay tuned for more videos, guys. We got some more things that are coming out, and that part 2 video should come out soon. We'll show you guys our rig and how we fire those videos with a loop to miss pedal, and how we set those things up to the direct boxes and to the snake and all that jazz. So if you have any questions, or if there's anything else we can cover to be more helpful, please don't hesitate to let us know. We appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this video, and we'll see you next time.